Good morning and welcome to the Circular Economy Forum in VDMA. Today I've got Julia Eckay with me. She is principal of Joschka Fischer and Company. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Julia, if we look around, we see many changes in our society. It seems that entrepreneurs get greener. We see Greta Thunberg, we see Fridays for Future, and so on. Will this change our society and the behavior?
Big question, right question. First of all, thank you so much that I can be here today to join my experience, how branches and companies deal with those changing questions and opportunities in society, debating topics which really, touch their business. Greta is a big buzzword. Sometimes I think people wake up because Fridays for Futures are now on the street. In our position, this did not start with Greta. She put it very strongly and ambitious, the question, why don't you solve those problems? We have on science-based, solutions. Why don't you take over? This is a question which especially young people can ask us, can ask, the next generation, can ask the industry. But I think the debate about changing the way we reflect our behavior about our consuming, topics. It started, for example, if you check out, automotive industry, and we had a big change, or we thought we had a big change, and oops, all of a sudden, there was a very big player coming from an international side. There came China, and all of a sudden they told us, you have to transform your industry. And everyone was like, oops, what's going on, And I think those are things which should be good that industry would learn about that. So this is not like kind of some green fancy ideas about some people on the street. And this is not, like some kind of new green whatever business topic, but it is really some things change and they have to change. And I think it's also because we see now the impact of our behavior in our backyard. I mean, this, not in my backyard debate, but it's there now. You can tell you have to water your plants more. Or you are somewhere on the beach and you see the plastics there. It's not stopping now on your backyard, We see that China, we have an import ban on plastics. And we look, as we debate on regulating our markets and what kind of plastic bags we should use, there are some African countries, they just said we ban them. And if you use them, you pay some $100 and you're thinking, wow, what's going on in Africa? And I mean, this is something which would be great, that we would say this is a transformation. We have all this power in Europe. We have smart engineerings. We have, all your members, like for example, this debate is starting in Europe. So, but we have to bring it on the road. I don't think we should wait if others, tell us what to do.
I fully agree. Could you try to outline in what way will this have a direct influence on the design of our future business?
Yes. I think how we, see circular economy, you have those three topics of reduce, reuse, and recycle. And in every of those three topics, you have new business models. For example, if you see what's happening in textile industry. I mean, I know we're talking a lot about, plastic products here, which is very important. But if you see like textile industry, we think that today we're used to bring back our bottle and it's going to be recycled and we get another bottle of that. So this is the next generation of plastics. But, you know, in 1 or 2 years, maybe it will be normal. I want to have a new dress, I bring back the old one, you know. And fashion industry is a statement of sustainability already today. And in this thing of, you know, reuse, for example, there are big business models now of sharing, of only using the things once or twice, giving it back. And also, of course, they collect the textiles because they want to have the secondary material. And you have big branches which already have very ambitious goals in that. So I think this will be the next step, for example. And all of those 3 phases, you have new business models and roles which are interesting to look at and which bring us on this transformation.
I think the very important part is the consumer. It's the end customer. In what way can we reach him? What do you think drives the end customer?
This is also a very interesting debate, which we could do for a long time, is the question, you know, is the customer, the consumer, the one who wants the thing, or is the industry the one who offers him the product, you know? I think at the end we have to look at both sides, you know, of the stories. Consumer, of course, is a very big driver and is very important. But I can give you an example. We have customers on which we consult on B2B business, and we also have customers which are big traders, for example. And you know all the bottles where you can clean your windows with, you know, with those, I don't know the words in English, but you can like...
Yeah, spray. It's like
spray,
a spray,
you know. And they are normally, not round, but they are kind of not square, but they have 4 corners. And we're used to that. We like the consumers, you grab that, oh yeah, that's my glass clear, you know? But if the industry would transform that into, you know, round ones, you know, you would reduce on 4 corners, and it's much softer, and you can reduce a lot of material. And now you have the debate with the traders, oh, will my customer realize that this is still the cleaning product? You know, and then I would say, well, I know, you know, we're all a bit conditioned, you know, as consumers, but we're not monkeys. I think it's possible to change that. And, you know, those are small examples, but it brings us up to a lot of the way, you know, we don't think about the things we do, and to just like kind of eco-design things, plus, of course, informing the people. This would be the way. And very important is, of course, the customer's face, if we talk about recycling, you know, because you have to tell the people how to recycle properly. Otherwise, you don't get the material, what you want to recycle, to have the secondary materials, of course, yeah.
Okay, so we see there's a change in society, in behavior. We see the end customer, the consumer, is really important.
It is.
Now let's talk about the plastics industry.
Yes.
In what way should the plastics industry really react? What's the proper way to approach this situation? What would you suggest?
Well, first thing, but I mean, maybe you can tell me that, is the question, are they aware that they are a big game changer and they are not the problem, but they are at the end the solution? And if they are aware of that, and we check out the futures, the numbers in the futures, and plastics will rise in Asia, you know, more societies adopt our way of consuming, and this is what we have to talk about, you know. And if you check out all those 3 phases, what I said, you know, reduce, reuse, recycle, then on all those, you know, points, you know, you have the possibility to go on a transformation. You know, we had the debate with automotive, you know, when is the industry willing to move? Now we have the debate about pricing of CO2. You know, there are some who say, you know, 10 euros per ton, you know, this is, you know, the hell of it. We know if we don't go over 100 euro, the industries won't change because it's not the framework to change things, you know. So this is the question: is the industry the driver for, I would say, the next generation of plastics? You know, because we need this material. Paper isn't always the way, you know. And this is the first question. And if they say yes, or if you say yes, then this is an interesting debate, which you should do with, you know, with society, with your consumers, plus, of course, with politics, where, you know, society's debates end. You know, what kind of framework do you need, you know? What do we need if we see those as resources, secondary resources? What frameworks do you need?
Julia, if you look ahead now, let's say 5 years, maybe even 10 years, what would you like the plastics industry or the society to look like? What's your wish?
If we go back to those three groups, you know, like consumers, industry, and politics, maybe I could start with the consumers. My wish would be that we all see how complex the adaptation of plastic is. You know, we had this, as I said, the debate, you know, we list out plastic bags, and we all run around with paper bags, and we feel so much better. But it were the NGOs, you know, they so often, you know, companies were afraid of NGOs, but it was a big German NGO who said, no, this is not better. Because if you look at the ecological footprint of a, you know, paper bag, this is not better. So this is very complex. And we should be aware of that. And we should be in contact, you know, with our branches, with our brands. And we should discuss that. And we should realize that we are also part of the solution. As I said, we see that in textiles, you know. If I bring back this old dress and I said, I'm willing to buy a new one, but I want you to take that back, and my solution is, make me a new one of the old one, this is cool. And then, you know, I feel better when I wear this dress, but I also buy it. So this is fine, you know. And this is the transformation. So this is on the consumer side. And from politics, I would wish especially for European politics, you know, give us a proper framework to make innovation and investment in companies so we know how circular economy will, you know, will work. We talked about, you know, taxes for, you know, for plastics. Not a green politics, by the way. It was a conservative one for southern Germany, and everybody was like, oh my God, we're not doing this. Now we're talking about taxes for, you know, oil to put in, you know, to put in virgin material. And the question is, are we waiting for all this? Are we pushed by others? As I said, are we pushed by the international scene, or are we saying Europe has it all in the hand? This is innovation. We want this, and we give a proper framework to make this happen. So this would be the wish on that side. And the last wish comes from the industry. Yeah, be brave and go out there, you know, and explain yourself to the people, and don't put it back to the customer and say, okay, you're on convenience food, so what am I supposed to do? You have it all in plastic. I don't think this is the right way, because, I mean, we have the debate with cities, you know, all of a sudden you're not allowed to throw it back, you know, and then what? Nobody has the solution, you know. Politics is always the last steps, you know. We shouldn't ask for that first. And also, I think, you know, discuss this in your companies. I mean, what I have from my clients often, that they also say, you know, when I say I work in this and this branch, in this industry, my kids, my colleagues, my wife wants to know, what are you doing? And you're working in plastic industry, and that isn't very... Aren't you the ones, you know, and responsible, like, for all this, what we see, ocean plastic and this and that? And check out in your companies, you know, what are your colleagues saying? What is your innovation in your companies? Talk about this and get on the move, as I said, for the next generation plastic. This is also, I think, a way.
Thank you very much, Julia Eckay.
You're welcome.
And thank you very much for watching. Ciao.